Hello and welcome to Moneylife News and Views. I am Debashis Basu. In June this year, the Modi government passed three acts to reform the farm sector. One was to free the prices of cereals, pulses, oilseeds, edible oils, onion and potatoes from stock limits, subject to of course some exceptions. Two, allowing farmers to sell their crop to anyone, anywhere. And three, allowing farmers to get into contract farming. The fairy tale outcome of these reforms would be better infrastructure and market access for farmers, which would take the rural economy to new heights. Under the current laws, farmers can only sell, that is, of the most products, to licensed traders under APMC mandis near them. These are controlled by politicians, who gobble up the bulk of the profits from the chain. With prices being freed, farmers will benefit, is the hope. Through contract farming, farmers will get capital and technology is the dream. Relentless propaganda has brainwashed millions to believe in these rosy scenarios. But such lucrative reforms have only provoked the farmers to go on the warpath. Amid a welter of allegations, denials and clarifications, all muddied by the ruling party, demonizing the protesters through social media, no one really knows which side is right and which arguments are sensible. I don't know whether the Modi government had anticipated the intensity of farmers' agitation. If it did, would it brazen it out or pay just lip service to farmers' demands? After all, this government is the last one to give in to anyone's pressure. No matter how the protests are resolved, the regime will still have to handle implementation issues. Even if these acts are forced down the throats of state governments, illegally according to them, because agriculture is a state subject, a huge effort would be needed to substitute the currently restrictive and exploitative APMC structure with a more reliable trading and price discovery mechanism to give the farmers a fairer price. But price is only one part. Farmers then would have to deliver the produce and so would need an end-to-end physical distribution model to fulfill their orders. To support both price and delivery, they would need ironclad contracts. The question is, who would enforce such contracts quickly, easily and inexpensively? It is this part of the fairy tale that looks most utopian and can lead to enormous distress. A quick look at the situation in the financial sector will tell you how big a mess it can be. At Moneylife, we have been looking at the consumer financial sector, that is mutual funds, stocks, insurance, fixed income and loans for 15 years now. Each of these segments is highly regulated. Every player has to be registered with the regulator. Everyone's conduct is well defined. Almost the entire business is technology driven, which ensures complete transparency and record trail. Competition is strong. Fines and penalties for misdemeanors are written in the regulations. Each regulator has set up a multi-layered grievance redress system apart from forcing individual players to set up their own internal redress mechanism. And yet, based on my knowledge as an insider, I can confidently say that the playing field is horribly tilted against the consumer, which I've written about innumerable times. In general, powerful players are openly selling harmful products, incentivizing distributors to dupe consumers into buying them, or they overcharge consumers brazenly, sometimes legally, due to poor regulations. When caught, they get away with small fines or no fines. We must remember that justice is not about how many laws and regulations we make. It's about making people pay for abuse of power. How to ensure that? The only way out is quick and exemplary punishment, which then becomes a lesson for others to remember and behave. But regulators, captured by the dominant players, can't think of exemplary punishment or ways to give savers back their money, even when that is possible. This is the ultimate test of whether a system is delivering justice to the little guy. Today, it isn't. Among those who have sought Moneylife Foundation's help to get their money back after being cheated are a top singer and actress, the head of a large advertising agency, a large distributor of Reliance products, doctors or even bankers. Now, in our fairy tale free market, imagine a transaction in rural India outside the APMC, the small farmer on one side and a big trader or a corporate contractor on the other. no effective safeguards, no checks, no way of even establishing wrongdoing of the larger and the powerful party. Worse, there will be no access to courts because the law does not allow it. There will be rampant one-way exploitation far away from the public eyes. The solution, as I had mentioned in June, is to do a pilot project in a BJP-ruled state such as Uttar Pradesh, gather feedback and use that data to improve the system. But for some strange reason, this government does not want to follow this method, which is actually virtuous feedback loops, even though many of its in-house intellectuals claim that making course corrections by using feedback is indeed the new method of governance of this government. In fact, I have often wondered if this regime follows any method on economic matters. Why is it that the same team that is so purposeful, methodical, and laser focused on its political objectives is so bumbling with economic reforms? Why is a team that could change the rules of the political game overnight had to borrow Congress's economic ideas and serve them up as its own, delivered with shiny new slogans? I haven't seen any explanations for this strange phenomenon. I've only seen apologies for the regime by blaming failures on weak bureaucrats and finance ministers. In June, I wondered whether the 3 new farm acts would lead to the biggest reform ever or end up as a farce. Well, it's turning out to be a 3-act tragedy for now. Thanks for watching. And of course, if you like this, please do subscribe to Moneylife News and Bites. Thank you.